Hello everyone, today we are going to discuss about electrochemical cells. For that, let's start with electrochemistry. As we know, it is the branch of chemistry that deals with the electrical study of electrical energy with respect to the chemical reaction. Or we can say it is the study of the mutual relationship between the chemical energy and the electrical energy. Now there can be two kinds of conversions on this basis. One is a conversion of electrical energy to chemical energy, while the other is conversion of chemical energy to electrical energy. For this purpose, we can use different devices. For example, if we have to convert electrical energy to chemical energy, the device we use is electrolytic cell. You have studied about it in your previous classes also, but let's take a fast review. Electrolytic cells are cells in which there is an electrolytic tank, there is an electrolyte filled in it, there are two oppositely charged electrodes. One of them is connected to the positive terminal while the other is connected to the negative terminal of a battery. The one which is connected to positive terminal is called anode, while the one which is connected to negative terminal is called cathode. Now the electrolyte which has been filled in this electrolytic cell is a chemical which either in its aqueous state or in its molten state is capable of producing free ions and hence conducting the electricity. So let's take an example, a very common example. If we take the molten NaCl, then this molten NaCl will produce free ions, Na ion and the chloride ion. Now Na ion being positively charged will move towards oppositely charged electrode, that is cathode. It will gain the electron and will get reduced. So reduction of Na ion takes place at cathode. Since it moves towards cathode, we know it is called cation. While the negative ion being negatively charged will move towards anode and will lose the electron. That means the oxidation will take place and chlorine gas will get evolved at anode. That is why this particular ion is called anion, because it is moving towards the anode. This is how the redox reaction takes place in an electrolytic cell. However, we must understand that this redox reaction taking place in electrolytic cell is non-spontaneous. We have discussed spontaneous and non-spontaneous reactions in your 11th standard, and you must be knowing that spontaneous reactions are those which do not need any initiation or any external forces. They have a natural urge or natural tendency to occur, while non-spontaneous reactions are those which cannot happen or occur on their own. They require some external force, some kind of force, or the conditions are required for them to occur. So as you can see, we require electrical energy for this process, for this redox to take place. As long as you provide electricity, electrolysis will take place. So it is a non-spontaneous redox taking place in electrolytic cells. Now let's move to the next conversion which we were discussing, and that is the conversion of chemical energy to electrical energy. This also indicates that in this case the electrical energy is getting consumed, while in this case the electrical energy is getting produced. And the redox in this case taking place is spontaneous in nature. Now what is so specific about this type of cell? It takes place in two different cells. The complete process takes place in two different cells which we may call half cells. In one of them the oxidation will take place, and while in the other the reduction will take place. So in this case we have to take two different metals, what we do is we take two different metals dipped in their corresponding solutions. To understand this type of cell, which is the electrochemical cell, we need to understand its construction. Now these cells are also called galvanic cells, and the most common example is you must have heard voltaic cells. You call them voltaic cells. We call them voltaic cells because the scientist who first constructed it was Alessandro Volta. So that is why sometimes they are also known as Volta cells. Now these cells, voltaic cells, let's take an example for this, which is Daniell cell. And for Daniell cell, we are going to use two metals, zinc and copper. Two metallic rods dipped in their corresponding salt solutions. So we have taken zinc rod in this particular cell, and it has been dipped in zinc sulfate solution. Similarly, we have taken copper rod in another half cell, which has been dipped in its solution again, and let's take copper sulfate solution. Now there is a U-tube structure which connects both of these half cells like this. It is filled with some gelatinous material and it is called salt bridge, which we will understand what is its utility in this type of cells. So electrochemicals, in electrochemical cells, we generally require two metals, metallic rods, and their corresponding salt solutions in which they have been dipped. Now, which of them should be taken on the left side, which of them needs to be taken on the right side, that is also very important in this case of electrochemical cells. Let's see, in this case what we observe. First let's see what do we observe. We observe that zinc from the zinc rod starts getting converted to zinc ion, leaving behind its electrons on the rod. While in this case, what do we observe? We observe that the copper ions present in the solution, they start getting reduced by taking up the electrons from the copper rod, which is actually cathode, while the zinc rod it acts as anode in this case, because we always know that anode is the electrode where oxidation takes place. Cathode is the rod where reduction takes place. So now you can see zinc is getting oxidized while copper ion in this case is getting reduced. So in both these half cells, if you see, in two different half cells, different reactions are taking place. We can call it anode half cell or oxidation half cell. What is the reaction taking place here? Zinc is getting converted to zinc ion by losing the electrons. And what is the cathode half cell reaction? Cathode half cell reaction, copper ions are getting oxidized to copper metal. So as we said, anodic half cell, in anodic half cell oxidation is taking place. In cathode half cell reduction is taking place. What if we add both of them? We will get the cell reaction. For this, so cell reaction, net cell reaction, for it you can get by combining these two. And how do we combine it? Zinc plus copper ions are getting converted to zinc ion and copper. though they are this redox, in this redox you can see they are taking place simultaneously. The oxidation is taking place in anode half cell while the reduction is taking place in cathode half cell. Now the point is, if why zinc is getting oxidized in this case and copper is getting reduced in this case, both are metallic, both show electropositive character. So for electrochemical cells, you have to take two metallic rods which are, if they are different in electrochemical series, their positions are different. So do you remember the electrochemical series, how it is formed? It is a series in which the metals have been placed by decreasing activity, or you can say decreasing electropositive character. So those metals which are lower in electrochemical series have low tendency to get oxidized, while those which are higher in electrochemical series have higher tendency to get oxidized. Or we can say the metals which are at the bottom, they have greater tendency to get reduced, and at the top they have lesser tendency to get reduced. Now combining these two, if this concept is applied to the combination of zinc and copper, zinc is higher in electrochemical series, so it has greater tendency to get oxidized, while the copper is lower in electrochemical series, so it has greater tendency to get reduced. And that is why in electrochemical cells, this electrochemical series plays a very important role, because it will decide, if we are taking a pair of metals, it will decide which of them is going to act as anode and which of them is going to act as cathode. Because the metal which shows higher oxidation tendency, for example in this case, if you see, zinc is higher in electrochemical series, so it has greater tendency to get oxidized, and that is why it is being used as anode. While the copper, which is lower in electrochemical series, has a greater tendency to get reduced, and hence it is acting as cathode in electrochemical cell. We can take a combination of any two metals, but we have to see their respective positions. On the basis of their respective positions in electrochemical series, we can decide which of the metals has to act as anode and which of them will act as cathode. So now if we change their positions, we think that copper will act as anode and zinc will act as cathode. Such a cell will not work. So feasibility of cells we are going to continue in detail later on. First we are going to discuss its construction, as we were discussing its construction, and we have already discussed that we have two half cells. One of them acts as anode while the other acts as cathodic half cell. Anodic half cell, in anodic half cell there would be oxidation taking place, while in cathodic half cell reduction will take place always. Now anode will be of the metal which is higher in electrochemical series, while the cathode will be made of metal which is lower in electrochemical series. So at anode oxidation will take place and it will consist of a metal which is higher in electrochemical series. At cathode the reduction will always take place and it will have a metal which is lower in electrochemical series. Now let's talk about salt bridge. What is its utility? Firstly, it is connecting both the half cells to complete the circuit. Secondly, this salt bridge contains some gelatinous mass along with some electrolyte. Let's take an example of KCl. What is the utility of this electrolyte which is present in this salt bridge along with the gelatinous material which has been packed in this salt bridge? Let us take this half cell First, what is happening? The zinc from zinc rod moves to the half cell or the zinc sulfate solution. Now this will result in accumulation of a lot of zinc ions in the solution, which will disturb the electrical neutrality of this cell, because it has got zinc ions and sulfate ions already. Now we have surplus zinc ions and some sulfate ions are also there. So when the zinc ions start accumulating around this, by the movement, these zinc ions start accumulating around this particular electrode, which will not let more zinc ions come into the solution. So the process will gradually start decreasing. This conversion of oxidation of metal will gradually start decreasing. When it will decrease, the potential difference will decrease and the electric current produced will also start decreasing. To maintain this neutrality or to remove this the excess of zinc ions from there, when the excess of positive ions are accumulated in the solution, the chloride ions from this electrolyte start moving to the solution to neutralize these extra zinc ions that have come into the half cell solution. So these chloride ions will keep on neutralizing those extra zinc ions, and this will maintain the electrical neutrality and will not let it affect the further oxidation of zinc metal. Now one more thing, this indicates that this zinc rod will start gradually decreasing in size. Similarly, let's take this half cell now. In this case, what is happening? We have copper sulfate solution. Copper ion is getting reduced and getting deposited over this. So one thing is, it will increase in size gradually. Copper ions are getting converted to copper metal. They are getting deposited. The solution is composed of copper ion and sulfate ion. When the copper ions are getting deposited from this solution, there would be excess of sulfate ions remaining in the solution. So again electrical neutrality is disturbed. When there would be lesser copper ions and more sulfate ions, these sulfate ions will attract or hold these copper ions, remaining copper ions, more strongly and will not let them go and get discharged. This will again not let it develop the potential difference, and hence electric current or flow of current would stop. So to maintain this electrical neutrality, now in this case the potassium ions will move towards this, being a gelatinous or porous material, because there is extra negative ion in this. The potassium ions will move from the salt bridge to neutralize these sulfate ions to maintain the neutrality, and hence the potential difference is maintained. This is the importance of salt bridge. Now the very important thing which needs to be which you need to remember in this case is a very strange thing. We are calling it anode, but you will see in this case the anode is found to be negatively charged, while the cathode in this case is positively charged, which is different from the electrolytic cells. Why is it so? We have just discussed that in this case zinc is getting oxidized. So zinc metal leaves its electrons here and then gets converted to zinc ion and moves to the electrolytic cell. This makes the electrode rich in electrons. So electrons are left on this particular electrode, and that is why this electrode acquires the negative charge. While if we see in this case, copper ions are taking up the electrons from this electrode for reduction. So they are taking up the electrons from this electrode, which is creating deficiency on this electrode, and that makes it positively charged. Whenever there is charge difference on the electrodes connected, we all know these electrons will start flowing from anode to cathode, and hence the current will flow from cathode to anode. Lot of questions in competitions are also asked. They will give you any two metals and you have to decide which of them will act as cathode and which of them will act as anode. So any two metallic elements taken for electrolytic cell, you have to see which of them will act as cathode or which of them will act as anode. We just discussed we can decide it with the help of electrochemical series. We can decide it on the basis of their electrode potentials, reduction potential also, which we are going to learn further. But on the basis of electrochemical series only, once we know which of them will act as anode and which of them will act as cathode, then we are able to tell whether the current will flow from zinc to copper or from copper to zinc. So you can tell, you can say, if we are taking this particular combination, what is happening with respect to electrons and current? The electrons are flowing from zinc to copper, while the current will flow from copper to zinc. So we'll continue with it, its notation. We'll discuss about its notation, how to represent a cell, and then we'll talk about the potentials. Till then, just go through it. I hope it helps you. It makes it easier to you to understand the topic. Thank you.